Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be giving you all the tea, all the details about highlighting and contouring. If you haven't seen the rest of the beginner makeup series, make sure you click up here so you can check them out. I've already did the five drugstore products starter makeup kit. Make sure you check that out. And then just kind of go in order. I have a video on brows, primer, and color correcting, all that good stuff. I have a brushes and tools video, so make sure you check those out first and then come back as you're going in order. So now that we've done primer and color correcting, we're gonna use this face that we ended with and do highlight and contouring. So I'll kind of find a picture of like Kim Kardashian is what really blew up the trend of highlighting and contouring, but people have been doing it for years. If you look at drag makeup, like that's essentially what it is, highlight and contour. So basically highlighting is highlighting where the light hits your face. So up under the eyes, the bridge of your nose, the center of the forehead, your chin, and like your brow bone area. So that's all the places where you'll like highlight, which is a lighter concealer shade. Some people use foundation, but typically it's a lighter concealer shade, 1 or 2 shades lighter. And I do have a foundation matching video on my channel, so check that out up here. But once you find your foundation shade, your highlight shade for concealer should be 1 or 2 shades lighter. It's completely up to you. I can't tell you specifically what shade you should choose, but it just depends on the kind of look you want to go for. If you want to look super highlighted, ready for the runway, if you want to look neutral and kind of muted for everyday look, it's completely up to you. So the concealers we used were the LA Girl Pro concealers, and they come in a variety of shades. All of these are different shades, but they're all usable for my skin tone. So the 4 shades I have right here, which I know it really looks like 2 shades, is Toffee, Cool Tan, Warm Honey, and Fawn. And like I said, I can make them all work because they're very similar in shade. So like I said, we're gonna highlight. So we'll start off with highlighting the face with our concealer, and today I'm gonna use the shade Fawn. Since I am pretty tan, this is one of the darker ones. And you can go ahead with the LA Girl Pro Concealer and just place this under the eye. So usually you can do a triangle, which this is for those people like me who like a nice highlighted look. But if you just want something to look neutral, you could do like just 3 little taps under the eye and blend that out. But I'm gonna, you know, do what I like to do and highlight under the eyes like this. I'm also going to highlight my chin, and we're gonna do a little bit on the forehead. Usually I do my brows first, but I just haven't done them yet. And then you can do the bridge of the nose. So the bridge of the nose is optional unless you really like desire to have your nose shaped a certain way from your makeup, because the more makeup you have on your nose, the more it looks like you have on makeup. So if you're going for a natural look, you can skip the nose. But once you apply the concealer, LA Girl Pro Concealer is a good concealer where it doesn't like, it's not hard to move around. So if you want to let it sit, which you might see a lot of videos where YouTubers let the concealer sit, that basically just allows it to get tacky so you have fuller coverage with your concealer. What I like to do while I have it set, I go ahead and contour. And cream contour is not really a beginner thing, but if you want to learn, here we're highlighting and contouring. Contouring is basically the shadows of your face. So around the crown of around your hairline, in your forehead area, on the sides of your nose, right here where your cheekbone, underneath your cheekbones, in the middle, and then like down here you see a natural shadow on my face. And some people even do right up under the bottom lip because it makes your lip look a little bit more pouty. So again, you can use the same product just in a different shade. These are the LA Girl Pro Concealers as well, and I have the shade Beautiful Bronze and Dark Cocoa. Beautiful Bronze really doesn't do anything for me because it's like my skin tone, except in the winter months when I'm a little bit lighter. So I've been using Dark Cocoa. And for this, I do want to put it on the back of my hand before applying it because it is a little bit darker. And you really could use the same foundation brush from the Brushes and Tools video and just kind of spread it out on your hand so it's evenly distributed on the brush. And then you can kind of add that in. And I don't want it to be too dark because we want it to look natural. And I'm just pressing that in. I'm going to do the same thing on this side and around the edges of my forehead. And I'm going to save the nose contouring for later dates. But now, since that's kind of dried out, I'm going to start off by blending out the bridge of my nose, because right now our sponge doesn't have much product on it and we don't want to add any excess on the bridge of the nose because then it's going to spread it out too much. So once you blend that out, I go into the forehead. And once you blend the forehead, the art of blending is basically blending like your life away. It's really, there may be a technique to it, which I haven't necessarily learned, but my way of blending out is just to keep blending until it looks well blended. So right now, it doesn't look 100% well blended, so I'm gonna go back in with my brush that has like leftover foundation on it and kind of blend out the edges. And then you can go back in and blend out the forehead a little bit more. And you just kind of keep bouncing back and forth until you get it blended how you like it. And you always want to make sure you get right here in your nose because you don't want any creasing right there. And when you blend this out, you don't want to keep dragging it too far up here. You can turn your sponge the opposite way and push inward so you're not dragging your concealer too far out, like so. And now some people do drag this concealer shade on their lid, which is completely fine. It kind of primes your lid. But that's pretty much it for highlighting and contouring. I think I'm gonna put this video all together because you gotta set your highlight and contour. So I was gonna do a separate video for setting powders and things like that, but we're gonna make this one a little bit longer video. So once you highlight and have cream contoured, if you would like to cream contour, you want to go ahead and set the under eyes with powder. This basically, setting things with powder basically means you're trying to make sure your foundation and your makeup doesn't move around throughout the day. And under the eye is a big area where it may move around because there's a lot of movement there with your eyes moving, as well as like smile lines and things like that. So there's a few different drugstore setting powders that are decent. Because it is drugstore, you're not gonna get like Laura Mercier translucent setting powder at the drugstore. You're just not, but there are some close seconds. So the Coty Airspun powder is a powder from Walmart. It is scented. It smells kind of like an old lady at church, but it does work pretty good. They don't have a huge shade range. The Black Radiance Loose Setting Powder is another good one, but this one you have to be very light-handed or you might get flashback. So you don't want to heavily set with this, and it's super fine. One other one that I like is the Maybelline Fit Me. This is also a really good one with a decent shade range. The other two have about 3 or 4 different shades. This one I believe has upwards of 6 or 7 different shades. So this one is a little bit more diverse as far as the shade range that you can get. And this one you have to be light-handed as well so you don't get any flashback. And then the last one that I have is the Makeup Revolution setting powders, which are kind of dupes for the Benign powder. These I have a love-hate relationship with, because sometimes they work how I like them to work, sometimes they don't. But I've learned that you have to be super light-handed with any of the drugstore foundations if you don't want that flashback factor. So we want to take our sponge, and this is a Shop Miss A dollar sponge, and make sure like the under eye is not creasing before we set the powder, because if it's creased and you put powder, you're just setting that crease. I like to go with a powder that's either translucent or a little bit more yellowy, but in this case I can go, so this is a Black Radiance banana powder, and it's very fine, so I'm going to use a little bit of this one because it's more fine. And sometimes I find that when you mix your powders a little bit, they come out a little bit better. So I'm just adding some of the Makeup Revolution setting powder, and I have banana and I believe terracotta. So I'm just mixing those kind of together. My ultimate favorite setting powders is, if you can save up $20 getting the Sacha Buttercup setting powder, that's a really good one. Or if you're really saving up, and get the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. But again, we're just making sure our under eye is completely crease free, and then this is a damp sponge that we've been blending everything out with, and I'm just pressing in the powder, pressing the excess on the back of my hand. So anytime you see one of my tutorials where I blow off the excess powder, it's the same thing but more sanitary, technically more sanitary. You do it on the back of your hand. It's your germs, as long as you're not doing nobody else's makeup and blowing on the sponge. But it's completely up to you. But you just want to press that in under the eye. And as you can see, you could barely see any excess powder because we're pressing the excess powder off on the back of our hand. So this is setting the concealer. And you want to do this in all the areas that you put that lighter concealer shade. So the chin, the bridge of the nose, and the forehead as well. Now, if you have drier skin and you're like, whoa, that's a lot of powder, I would recommend trying to use a brush and lightly dusting the powder under the eye. So maybe getting one of your BH Cosmetic brushes and just lightly dusting under the eye instead of setting it with a sponge, just so you don't have that heaviness on your face. So now you can set the contour. You can also set your lids if you want to, so they're not looking all juicy. Oh, you got my lids looking juicy. Got me ready to do anything and everything that you say. Alright, and so from here you want to set the contour shade, which is that darker concealer color. And we're going to use our BH Cosmetics True Complexion Contour Palette. And this is the palette that we used in the Beginner Starter Makeup Kit. And like I said, I go in with the Sculpt shade in the medium to dark palette because that contour shade is powerful, honey. So we're just going to go in with the Sculpt shade. And you want to tap off excess from your brush, because if you just go in by dipping in, then you're going to be mad because you're just going to have a big old blotch that's going to be hard to blend out. So we're just going to put this in the same area with a light hand. A makeup artist taught me that if you hold down near the brush, that's going to give you like more control where you put it in. So say if you were doing like eyeliner or something, you want to hold close to the bottom. But if you're trying to blend with more of an airbrush effect, you move your hand toward the end of the brush. And so we're just blending that in. And then you also want to go on your forehead. And then I like to do my nose with a smaller brush. This is one of the BH Cosmetic brushes, the number 5 from the Studio Pro Kit. And I'll link the products that I'm using in this video down below. But for the brushes and stuff, just go to the brushes and tools video. So contouring the nose, putting the shadow on the sides is going to make my nose look skinnier or more defined. So after you do all this, you want to dust off the excess powder, and a good way to do that is to use a brush that has, you can use any old fluffy brush. This is a BH Cosmetics brush. But you also want to use like a pressed powder. And my favorite is the Sephora Micro Smooth powder, which is going to run you around 20 $. But Maybelline does have a similar, Maybelline has a similar powder, which is the Fit Me Just Pressed powder, and this is in the shade 360. You could probably get the shade that is your foundation shade, but you just want to tap in it, tap off the excess, and you're just basically blending your entire face, getting off that excess powder and things like that. So once you do that, you basically have your face is pretty much done, but if anything else is really extra besides the setting spray. So I'm gonna go off camera and do my brows, and then I'll come back and show you guys these setting sprays and the importance of them and all that stuff. Okay guys, so forgive me for the change in quality of the sound, because that entire 18 minutes of filming, my mic was off. But anyway, I did my brows off camera, and this is what my face is looking like without any setting spray or anything like that. We have just set with the powder and everything. So for setting sprays, it's really to melt in the powders that you already applied to your face, kind of add that moisture back into it, and just kind of getting everything set in place before you go out for whatever you're doing today. So some of the ones that I mentioned that I really like is the Milani Make It Dewy and Make It Last. They also have, this is the Make It Last matte. They have just a regular Make It Last, and these are affordable setting sprays, and they cater to whatever you need. So if you want your makeup to look dewy, you can use the Make It Dewy setting spray. Or if you want it to make it matte, you can use the Make It Matte setting spray. I like Make It Matte just because it's like, it says 16-hour wear. I've never worn my makeup that long. I probably have, but I just like the mattified look. Sometimes I like a dewy look. When I like a dewy look, I'll go in and do a dewy look. But today I'm just gonna do a basic everyday look, and that's gonna end with my Make It Last matte setting spray. Another one that I like, which is a little bit more pricey, is the Maybelline Master Fix. This is a good setting spray for me. Setting sprays really, they all work the same unless they're dewy versus matte. That's the main difference for me. More expensive, but not really more expensive, is the Morphe setting sprays. So the Morphe setting spray is about $16. This one will run you maybe 10 to 12. So it's really kind of in drugstore price range, and I like this one because of the nozzle. It's like an aerosol can kind of, so it sprays in a fine mist. And if y'all didn't know, honey, I peeped, and Morphe done came out with a mattifying continuous setting mist. So this one usually gives me, the black can usually gives me like a natural radiance to the face. I ain't tried this one yet, honey, but it's in a white bottle, and it's called the Mattifying Continuous Setting Mist. And it's, well, it got a little cucumber scent. But yeah, and I like to fan my face while it dries. You can either fan your face, or you can use like a sponge and press it in. I like fanning it because I feel like it just sets everything in place. After I do my setting spray, that's when I like to add my highlighter, just because I feel like it amplifies it a little bit. And I like using the Makeup Revolution. This is their strobe highlighter in Gold Addict. I think they've like rebranded it a little bit, and they have different packaging. but I've cracked mine, so it's in a bag like this. But I like adding highlighter after I add my setting spray because I feel like it pops out and stands out a little bit more. And so highlighter goes like right above your cheekbone, so it's kind of like concealer, highlighter, blush is up in here on the apples if you want to add blush, and then bronze, contour. Bronze and contour is pretty much the same thing. Bronze is just a little bit more light-handed, more diffused. Contour is more to give you that. Bronze is to warm up your face a little bit. So they're pretty much the same thing. I know sometimes you'll probably have that question come along because some people say bronze, some people say contour, some people contour with bronzer. It's really all the same thing. So that's pretty much a finished face. So I hope you guys got something from this highlight, contour, setting spray, setting powder dealio. And I hope this was helpful for any beginners out there during this time when we're in quarantine. Guys, we can practice. If you have products or if you can order products, I mean, the essentials are still open, so you can go get some at Walmart, you know, and practice. And the good thing with drugstore products is since they're more affordable, you can afford to hit or miss. Like I would hit or miss trying out different foundation shades in a drugstore versus going and buying you some Fenty and you got the wrong shade, and that's, you spend a lot of money. When for one bottle of Fenty you can buy like 3 bottles of Superstay. Anyway, so hopefully this was educational, and if y'all have any questions, any specifics that y'all want to know, please let me know in the comment section below. I love y'all so much. The next video we're gonna get into the eyes and show you about eyeshadow and lashes. I don't think eyeliner is really a must, but we're gonna include a little bit of that as well in the next video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure if you're not subscribed, you go ahead and subscribe down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe and all that jazz. Well, joining the Gym Squad basically means you're joining a community of people committed to loving themselves authentically and living a positive life. So make sure you subscribe down below and join the Gym Squad. Like this video, and y'all never forget, at the end of the day, without regrets, love yourself and be you, Temple. Bye guys.